Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of Script Supervisors. We have got a lot of interesting stuff today. We are going to talk about some DC stuff.
Yay!
We're going to go through the Superbowl trailers, and then we're going to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Because we went and saw it.
Yeah. Yep.
What are you pulling up?
The DC... the DCU slate that was announced.
Ah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Just so I have it pulled up. But yeah, so we'll jump into the DCU stuff first. So there was a lot of DC stuff announced. I have it pulled up here. Basically, they're going to release Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
I've been getting ads for that.
Yeah. And then The Flash, which we'll talk about the trailer for later. They're going to release those two. And then, apparently, The Flash is going to involve a universe reset.
It looks like it.
Yeah. That's what it's labeled here as. And then, after the universe reset in Flash, we're gonna get Blue Beetle.
Awesome.
And then Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Sorry. And this is what I don't get. So, Aquaman and I can say that title. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is apparently a sequel to a DC EU film, but it is a DCU film.
Why?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Why do they do this? Why can't they just, make original movies?
Yeah. I don't know why. Well, I mean, they had to release Aquaman at some point, but why they chose to do it after the universe reset, I have no idea.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. But yeah, and then, so Chapter 1 of the DCU is called Gods and Monsters.
Okay.
So we got a few projects here. There's Creature Commandos, which is going to be an animated DC project starring a whole bunch of, freaky monsters and stuff.
Okay.
So I think the two main characters of that, they are going to be Rick Flag and Weasel.
Ah, gotcha. Good stuff.
I don't think Joel Kinnaman and Sean Gunn are going to voice them, though, because I think they're actively looking for people to voice them.
Gotcha.
Next is an Amanda Waller, Viola Davis-led series called Waller.
Okay.
So that should be interesting. And then Superman Legacy.
And wait, Shazam is in there, right?
Yes, Shazam was the first one.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what's, kicking it off.
Yeah, Shazam is kicking... Well, I guess technically Shazam and Flash are ending things for the DCEU, and then Blue Beetle will kick off the DCU.
Oh.
Yeah, because the Flash is resetting the universe, and then the DCU happens.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then we got a Superman movie called Superman Legacy.
All right.
There's going to be a live-action show called Lanterns, about Green Lantern. We have a film called The Authority.
The Authority.
I think it's like a Watchmen-style show.
Okay.
That should be good, I think. Then we have Paradise Lost. That is a Wonder Woman before Wonder Woman movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Actually, it's a live-action series, apparently.
Oh.
So, yeah. Paradise Lost is about the Amazons and Amazonia before Wonder Woman, at least from my understanding.
And it's named after a, biblical fan fiction.
Yep. And then we have another movie. It's called Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Okay.
We're not sure who's going to be the new Batman or the new Superman or the new anything, for that matter.
Nothing has been announced.
Yeah. And then we have a live-action series for Booster Gold.
Booster Gold?
Yeah. Booster Gold is a DC character who, wants to be a superhero, so he, does all this stuff, and he's, a fake superhero because he just likes the glory of being a superhero, and he doesn't like to actually do things. I don't know. He teams up with Blue Beetle a lot.
Okay.
And it just...
So Kick-Ass?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's such a great movie. I've got to watch that again.
Yeah. And then we have a film called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Okay.
So that should be interesting. No idea who's playing Supergirl. and then a film for Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that's chapter 1 of the DCU, and then also with this they announced a whole bunch of like DC Elseworld projects that are still going on. So that includes like the Joker and the Batman, and Superman and Lois is still going. So they've decided to keep that going. And then the Joker sequel and the Batman Part 2.
Okay.
As well as Teen Titans Go.
So, explain the Joker for me. There was a movie, Joker.
Yeah.
A lot of people liked it.
Right.
There's a new Joker coming out.
It's a sequel to that movie.
It's a sequel to that movie.
Yeah, with Joaquin Phoenix still.
Okay. And Lady Gaga?
And Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Actually, they released a picture of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Which we saw before this, which looks all right, I guess.
And then they also have the sequel to that sequel planned out?
No.
Oh. Then why are there 2 Jokers on your thing there?
Because it's just that's the first Joker. They put the first Joker and the Batman on here.
Okay.
So it was it says Joker October 4th, 2019, which was the first one. And then the Batman March 4th, 2022. And then Joker the musical. The subtitle's not actually called the musical. It's just
It's going to be a musical?
To be a musical, yeah.
It's going to be a musical.
It's going to be a musical.
The sequel to Joker is going to be a musical. People are going to lose their minds.
Yeah. And then the Batman Part 2, October 3rd, 2025.
Let's go!
Yep. And then Teen Titans Go, the animated series, and Superman and Lois are going to continue.
All right.
Yeah. Also, there has been a rumor floating around via John Campea on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's saying that Grant Gustin is going to be the new Flash. So he plays the Flash in the show. Yeah.
I have heard so many different things about the Flash show.
Yeah. Apparently, from what I hear, it's really good.
From what I hear, the first couple seasons are good, and then the rest of them are awful.
Yeah. So I've seen John Campea say that this is just a rumor that's floating around. It's nothing solid yet, but it's just a rumor that is floating around. But yeah, so I mean that's basically it for DC news. I mean, we got some exciting stuff coming out, and hopefully James Gunn can pull it off, because I mean some of these projects seem like total James Gunn things, and some of them just seem dumb. Like
there's no way he's going to be able to like direct all of it.
I don't think he's going to direct all of it. I think he's going to pass it off to a couple of people.
Yeah, he's got to delegate some stuff.
I think there was a rumor floating around about him wanting to direct the Superman movie, Superman Legacy, which I don't know how I feel about, but oh well. Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm just messing with the sensitivity because I didn't like how it was last time. Oh well.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, that's basically it for DC news.
All right.
Yeah. Next we got some Marvel news. There's a Spider-Man Noir series.
Heck yes.
Being posted in development with Amazon.
Live action or animated?
Live action.
Ooh.
And it is going to be not Peter Parker.
All right.
And I think that's a good decision, because if you make it Peter Parker, you get a whole bunch of people saying, "Oh, when's he going to meet Tobey Maguire? When's he going to meet Andrew Garfield? When's he going to meet Tom Holland?"
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea that they're not having it be Peter Parker. But I don't know. A Spider-Man Noir series should be very interesting. And from what I understand, it's not connected in any way to the animated Into the Spider-Verse films.
Good.
Yeah. So the Marvels got a new poster and a delay, which we took a look at. I quite like it. And
yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It got pushed from July to November, which honestly I think is good, because they only had 3 Marvel movies coming out, and if they had released that in July, there would have been 3 Marvel movies in the first 6 months, and then nothing for the rest of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's good that they're spacing out, and I don't think that this delay necessarily says anything negative about the movie. It's just a strategic decision, which I am totally behind.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, the tagline is higher, further, faster, together. So that's one more word than the Captain Marvel tagline. Yeah. So,
What was the Captain Marvel tagline again?
higher, further, faster.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see that. Obviously, Brie Larson, Tiana Paris, and Iman Vellani are returning as Captain Marvel, Spectrum, and Miss Marvel. That should be interesting. Kevin Feige talked a little bit about that when he was on the red carpet for Ant-Man and the Wasp. He also said, he addressed Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Ross casting. He said that in Captain America New World Order, Thaddeus Ross will be the president of the MCU. So we had a discussion about this a while ago.
Yeah.
I guess he's after Ritson, but my theory is since Ritson, as of right now, who's going to be in Secret Invasion, as of right now, he doesn't have a first name, and I think that's intentional. My theory is Ritson is a Skrull.
Oh.
So Thaddeus Ross will probably be the vice president, I'm assuming, and then when Ritson is revealed to be a Skrull, Thaddeus Ross will take over.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which also explains why he's not the Secretary of State in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Because it was Richard Schiff.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a good decision. It should be interesting to see Thaddeus Ross in the presidency position because I'm assuming the Thunderbolts are going to be related to him in some way. He's going to be in the Thunderbolts movie, so
yeah.
So that's interesting to think about. And then also on the red carpet, Kevin Feige reconfirmed that Blade will be filming later this year, and he also said that a script for Spider-Man 4 is being written.
All right.
Yeah.
Always interested in more Spider-Man. I'm curious.
Spider-Man.
I'm curious to know how they're going to work home into the title this time.
Yeah. It's. I'm curious.
Spider-Man 4, homeless.
You remember all those those titles everybody was guessing for Spider-Man No Way Home? It was like Home Run.
Yeah, Home Run.
I think they actually did a joke with that, and they had a picture of a whiteboard with a whole bunch of titles on it, and then
maybe I don't remember that.
I remember for promotional material for it, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Tom Holland, and Tony Rivoli all released they posted separate Spider-Man titles, and they said, this is the real one, this is the real one.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, they had the trailer with the whiteboard, and then it panned over, and it had Spider-Man No Way Home, and it was circled.
Gotcha.
At least from what I remember. So yeah, I'm interested to see this, and I think the Spider-Man movies have been pretty solid.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, next thing. This is via Streamable.
One second. I'm going to turn around in my chair.
Yeah, go ahead. Netflix is cracking down on password sharing.
I hate that.
So do I. As a person in college who does not go home every 31 days.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
I get my Netflix from my dad. My dad lives an hour north of me. I can go there every 31 days. It's just going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And I'm pissed about it.
And I get that password sharing is a problem, but I don't think it's as big of a problem as Netflix is making it out to be. And I honestly think that this is going to make them lose subscribers.
Yeah, they already are losing subscribers.
Yeah.
Their stock is tanking.
The only reason that people have Netflix in the first place is it's one step easier than pirating.
I was going to say, it's just slightly more convenient than pirating.
So
people are just going to pirate stuff now.
Right. And And there was the question presented of what if I want to use my Netflix account at a hotel or on my work computer? Mm-hmm. Apparently their solution is Netflix will offer you a 7-day limited time password that you can use, and after 7 days it expires. Also, if you log on to a Netflix account not on your home network within the 31-day span, your account is blocked. So
What?
I just think that
What's
this
the
is a
7-day
horrible
password
decision.
even for? I don't...
Like, if you go on a trip and you want to use Netflix at your hotel, then you
Okay.
enter the 7-day, like...
So you get 38 days instead of 31?
No, it's a 7-day temporary password, as in, like, I can log on to this device onto Netflix for 7 days before I have to get another temporary password from my home
Oh.
network.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just completely terrible, and I don't like this at all.
They're gonna have to roll it back.
Probably. And
The same way that Wizards of the Coast rolled back their proposed idea.
yeah,
Netflix is going... They're gonna have to, like, go back to what it was.
right. I totally agree. And this is just not going to blow over well for Netflix. And I honestly don't think it bodes well. It's only active, apparently, in like 4 countries. The U.S. is not one of them. It's like Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and then a couple of others, I think.
They're
But
beta
yeah,
testing it
They're
before...
beta testing it. Everybody hates it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, everybody hates it.
They're losing so much goodwill this way.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing via Variety is some shakeups with the real-life Squid Game documentary that Netflix was producing.
Uh-huh.
So basically, it's sort of similar to the Mr. Beast Squid Game video that he did, where he's like
Squid Game.
doing all the things. They were like filming, some of the games that you do, and apparently they denied the participants water and food
Yeah.
and hand warmers and blankets.
I
and
heard that
coats.
the like I saw a meme about it, like, oh, real life Squid Game working conditions are described as like horrific or something, and it's like that's so beautifully ironic,
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And like, I just feel so bad for everybody who is like participating in this and didn't get proper food or clothing or whatever.
That's something that's like expected with movies. Like you
Yeah.
go to work at a place and there's catering, there's food trucks, there's water.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty terrible all around. Bob Iger at a Disney Investors Call announced that there will be sequels to Frozen, Toy Story, and Zootopia.
And they also laid off like 7,000 people.
Yeah.
And they made the announcement like right either before or after it.
Yeah.
And I think they're just trying to like, cover the fact that they laid off thousands of people.
Yeah. Because
I have
it
zero
was
respect for Disney.
literally meant as a distraction, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And like they did that because they need to increase their profit margin, as does every big company needs to increase their profit margin. But the way to do it is not laying off people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the solution to increase your profits is make good movies.
Yeah.
That will increase your profits. But yeah, so I mean, with the exception of Zootopia, Frozen and Toy Story are like billion-dollar franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Because
mean,
there's already
thing
been 2 Frozen movies.
Yeah, like Zootopia was good. Frozen was good. Frozen 2 was okay. And the thing about the Toy Story movies is they're all good. I mean, there was like a discussion about whether like the 4th one was necessary, but I honestly thought it was pretty good.
I haven't seen it.
Well, yeah, they're all solid.
Yeah.
I think they're all solid. But yeah, so
The first Toy Story movie was actually really impressive for its time.
Oh yeah,
It
I
like
agree.
laid the groundwork, animation-wise, for what Disney and Pixar are doing these days.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I grew up on Toy Story, Toy Story 2. I remember when Toy Story 3 came out.
Yep,
So
same.
I loved those movies, and I'm excited for Toy Story 5 actually, because I if it tracks with the rest of the Toy Story movies, it's really not going to be that bad.
Yeah, hopefully it's good. Hopefully they hire more people.
Yes. Yes, Disney, please. Maybe some of the people you've laid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, can I go on a tangent real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw a thing. A guy got hired at Twitter, and then Elon Musk fired him in under 24 hours. Which is so absurd.
Yeah. I also heard like a similar story with like Yahoo,
Mm-hmm.
and like a couple of like Yahoo people getting laid off and like wanting to work at Yahoo and Yahoo not letting them. But my first question when I heard that story was, who wants to work at Yahoo?
Yeah.
But I guess people who can't work for Google, maybe?
People who want to work at Tumblr, I guess, because Yahoo bought Tumblr
Oh, yeah. They
for
did.
like $1 million or something.
Yeah, well,
Worst investment ever.
yeah. I
love Tumblr. It's terrible. I love it. Anyway, back to movies.
Back to movies. Next, Hellboy is getting into the reboot. Brian
Sick.
Tyler is directing. This is via Discussing Film. Apparently, Hellboy will be a teenager.
Oh.
So that
So, like,
that should be
actually a
interesting.
boy this time instead
Yeah.
of Hellman.
Yeah, so not David Harbour.
All right.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to cast someone younger. But yeah,
Good.
so that should be interesting.
Let new young actors take the stage.
Apparently, Dreamworks is moving into live action. They're going to make a live action How to Train Your Dragon.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, from what I hear, because I haven't seen like the last How to Train Your Dragon movie, but I saw the first two. And from what I hear, the third one's pretty okay.
I want a live action B movie.
a live action B movie. Jeez. Yeah, that would be interesting. Oh my gosh, I just realized that they could do a live action Shrek.
Oh my god.
Oh no, live action Kung Fu Panda.
Yes! And get Jack
please.
Black to play Poe again.
Oh, that would be so good. It would. I hope it doesn't turn out like a Lion King situation.
Oh
Because
my
like,
god.
where there are no
yeah.
like the thing about How to Train Your Dragon is there are actual humans.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have actual humans in Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
So that I don't know. Maybe they'll do a live action.
It's like what they did with Sonic, you know?
Oh,
With his
yeah.
original design being horrific to look at.
Yeah.
And then they went through the entire movie and reanimated him as something decent.
Yeah.
Actually, when we talk about the Mario movie, I want to talk about that again.
Yeah, definitely. Apparently they're developing in a sequel to I Am Legend. So I Am Legend 2.
Okay.
Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan
Ooh.
starring in that.
Dude,
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan is killing it.
He is. He's making a lot of really good projects recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next thing is we got a couple of people who passed away. Richard Blitz, who played John Munch on Law & Order SVU, died at 78. George Miller, who was in The Man from Snowy River and The Neverending Story 2,
Okay.
has died at 79. And Stella Stevens, who starred in The Nutty Professor, died at 84.
Gotcha. I haven't seen any of these movies.
They're pretty good, especially like Law and Order SVU.
Gotcha.
I think it's personally the best of the Law and Order series.
Let me silence my phone real quick.
Yeah, and
Pretend we're in a movie theater right now.
yeah, John Munch was actually like one of my favorite characters from that show. So I was really sad to hear that he died, and I know my mom watches that show, and I sent it to her, and she was really sad that he died too. But yeah, so the next thing is Extraction, the Netflix franchise.
Extraction.
The movie starring Chris Hemsworth. Wrong Chris.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it has the potential to become a video game. So they might be giving it the video game treatment.
That could be neat.
Yep. So yeah, and then the next couple of things are a couple of James Cameron uses. He was interviewed and he said that he can, quote, relate to Thanos' problem of overpopulation.
What does that even mean?
I have no idea, but
Sir!
he said he could relate to Thanos, so I don't know, James Cameron.
How many kids does he have?
3, I think.
If it was an even number, I was gonna make a joke.
Yeah, he apparently, like, all of James Cameron's productions, like The Terminator, The Abyss, Avatar, Titanic, apparently they were all really terrible to work on, and everybody hates him once they work with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of
The
James
guy had
Cameron-
like 3 sequels planned when the first Avatar movie came out. Of course he's a pill to work with.
Yeah. So there was like a story too about like during the production of I think it was Titanic, and some of the underwater scenes. James Cameron went down like in a dive suit to like go around and do things, and something happened with his suit, and the assistant director who was supposed to be supervising was on break.
Oh.
And then the safety diver went in and grabbed him, and like James Cameron was like flailing his arms around. James Cameron was trying to swim, but apparently the diver thought he was like struggling, so he like pinned his arms so he could like bring him up to the surface. And James Cameron ended up punching the diver in the face.
Oh no.
Both the diver and the AD were fired right after that.
Okay,
incident.
1, I get it. 2, cut him some slack. He's doing his job.
Yeah. All of James Cameron's productions was crazy, and from what I hear, Leonardo DiCaprio is the only actor willing to work with him again, because Kate Winslet doesn't like him at all.
Damn.
Yeah.
So does that include the actors for Avatar? Are they also just like...
From what I hear, Sam
Screw
Worthington and Sigourney Weaver and Zoe Saldana have no problem with him. It's
No.
just that his productions are usually really intense.
Yeah.
A lot of the crew members don't like him. But yeah, and another thing with James Cameron is Avatar: The Way of Water has passed James Cameron's Titanic. So the highest grossing movies now are Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Avatar: The Way of Water, Titanic. So James Cameron has officially made 3 out of the top 4 highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah.
And Zoe Saldana is in the top 3 highest grossing movies of all time.
The thing is that accounting for inflation?
No. It's
Yeah.
just pure box office numbers.
That's the problem, is that with inflation, of course more recent movies are going to be higher up there.
Yeah, yeah. Although I think you can still accurately measure Avatar, Avengers Endgame, and Avatar: The Way of Water in the same kind of like category, because I think Avatar came out in 2009?
Something like that.
Yeah. So I think they're close enough in range that you can still make that comparison. But yeah, so I mean, James Cameron, first director to have 3 movies over $2 billion.
Why are you Fishmaster41 on your computer?
Because that's my gamer tag.
Oh, right.
I use my gamer tag for like literally everything. So if you
Good for
find,
you.
if you find a Fishmaster41, that is probably yours truly. So reach out and say hi.
I'm going to start making accounts on literally everything that are
Oh, no.
Fishmaster41.
Oh no, please, no, save me.
You'll have to be Fishmaster42.
Oh no, I like being the 41st Fishmaster.
There's not enough space for 41 Fishmasters
No.
in this town.
No, I must defend my position as the 41st Fishmaster.
Alright, what's next?
Next is apparently they're doing a live action Lilo and Stitch.
Oh.
This could be good, but judging by all the other Disney remakes, it's probably not going to be good.
I hope it goes the Sonic route, where they realize we need a cartoony creature for this and not a hyper-realistic alien.
Yeah.
You know?
And I genuinely hope that they see that, because Lilo and Stitch is a good movie. I don't want them to ruin it.
It's cool. It's good. I like it.
So
He's a little guy and he talks like this.
Yeah.
You know?
that was an amazing Stitch impression.
Thank you. I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, I hope that they don't ruin this, but judging by all the other Disney remakes, it's probably going to be ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, Bruce Willis was diagnosed with early onset dementia.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunate.
That sucks.
Yeah, it really does. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with dementia and Parkinson's and, neurodegenerative conditions is that your brain's really good at compensating for them, and so by the time you start noticing the symptoms, you're mush.
Right. Yeah.
It's really depressing and kind of horrific.
Yeah. Next, we got some trailers we can talk about.
Yay, trailers!
We got a whole bunch of them this month, especially since the Super Bowl came out. So we'll start with the Super Bowl trailers.
Came out.
Uh,
Happened.
when the Super Bowl happened. The Super Bowl is an event that a whole bunch of people go to with spoons, and
Why spoons?
yell it. I don't know, because it's a bowl.
Oh.
I was trying to make a joke. It didn't work. But I believe that the Super Bowl this year was between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe the Chiefs won, which they did a couple of years ago, I think. I don't know. I'm not that into football. But
Superb owl.
yeah. I mean, I watched the Super Bowl for the trailers, not for the football.
No, but the thing is, we saw most of the trailers when we went and saw Quantumania.
That's true. I only got to see part of the Super Bowl because I was working. I only got to see like the first half hour because I had work. However,
Gotta go do your job.
yeah, I got to see all the trailers afterward, which was fun.
Yay.
So, yes, first one we have here is there was a spot released for Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Okay.
I feel like Mirage said his name one too many times.
He said it twice.
In 30 seconds.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm Mirage.
I'm Mirage.
And, like, I find it funny that he's a Porsche. Because,
Yeah.
like, when the other Transformers movies came out, Porsche was like, Transformers does not at all represent what Porsche stands for. And now they
What does Porsche stand for?
Not... I think they called the Transformers warmongering robots.
It is.
Yeah. So but you know, Transformers is like $1 billion franchise now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think Porsche is gonna say anything.
I'm mad about one thing and maybe a couple things. I'm mad about a couple things in the trailer. First one, Transformers, robots in disguise. How is a giant metal gorilla a disguise?
That's a very good question.
It's not!
Apparently, in the original Transformers like lore, the beasts were there before like human civilization was around.
Okay.
And then there was some time travel shenanigans that happened that led to Grimlock and the Dinobots, and now I guess there are car robots. I don't know. But yeah,
oh my God. It makes no sense.
I will see this movie. I don't mind a robot gorilla as long as they do it in a way that doesn't make me think this is stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give it a shot. Although I mean personally, I'm very excited to see a robot saber-toothed tiger.
Okay.
Like, for some reason, it's specifically the saber-toothed tiger that I'm really excited to see. But, yeah. So, yeah, the next TV spot that was released was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It had a 30-second TV spot.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'm really excited for this. I mean, Indiana Jones is fighting Nazis again. He's got his goddaughter.
Yep. He's time traveling.
He's time traveling. I'm pretty sure it's going to involve time travel. I mean, that's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is going to be set against the background of the space race and the Nazis that were involved in NASA.
Ooh.
So, like, you know, the famous Operation Paperclip that happened after World War II where the American government turned a whole bunch of Nazis into American scientists.
Like Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Yeah. So this should be interesting. And apparently I've heard that they've taken all the old jokes out of the script.
Old jokes?
Yeah, like jokes about Indiana Jones being old.
Why?
I guess because it was too repetitive, and honestly, I kind of agree. Like, I don't need to be reminded every 5 minutes that Indiana Jones has bones like dust. Because Harrison Ford's like 80?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He's old. Give me like 2 old jokes. Like once near the beginning and once like 3/4 of the way in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't think
Use it
they've
for
taken
comedic
out
effect.
all of them, just most of them. Because I think it was like, if you have too many of them, it becomes oversaturated.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work anymore. But like, I feel like one joke or two jokes from Phoebe Waller-Bridge's, I forgot what her name is, but she plays Tony Stark's Tony Stark. She plays Indiana Jones's goddaughter. Jesus Christ! What?
Yes, Tony Stark.
Yeah. Okay. Tony Stark's not in this movie.
We'll get to Tony Stark later.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
But yeah. So like two jokes from her would be very nice. Excited to see Sala back. Indiana Jones shenanigans with whips and horses and deserts and everything
fighting
in
Nazis.
between. Yep.
The classic.
Yeah. All right. So the next trailer we looked at was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Which I'm hyped about. 'Cause I
So am
freaking
I.
love the Guardians.
Me too. And I thought that little clip at the end where like Star-Lord looks into Nebula's eyes. I thought that was freaking hilarious.
If they do a fucking romantic subplot between Star-Lord and Nebula, I'm gonna be so mad and I'm gonna watch it anyway.
I hope it's a one-off joke.
I hope it's a one-off joke.
If it's a one-off joke, it's going to be really funny.
God, please don't let it be.
I like the 2001: A Space Odyssey reference with the solid jumpsuits. But
Speaking of the solid jumpsuits, Among Us.
Yes. I have a genuine question about that because like I understand that it's supposed to be a 2001: A Space Odyssey reference, but do you think that the joke has been ruined by Among Us?
I think the joke was made after Among Us. I think it's on purpose.
I know it's. I don't think that James Gunn thought of Among Us when he made the suits. Because I think he was genuinely wanted it to be a 2001: Space Odyssey reference.
It's been years, like 4 or 5 years since Among Us came out, and like 3 since it became incredibly popular.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on purpose.
Okay.
I think that sort of capitalizing on people's revulsion to Among Us, and it's going to get people talking about the movie. Everyone's going to be saying, "Oh, right. They're wearing Among Us spacesuits." Oh, blah, 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 blah. It's going to get more the P word.
Publicized?
Publicity. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay. I guess my next question then would be: do you think the reference is lost on most of the people who are going to be watching this movie? Because like
maybe
the like I would say the casual audience, most of the casual audience was born around 2001 or after 2001.
Yeah, I don't know if people are gonna get the 2001 reference.
Yeah, I know. So that would be my question. Because I did not make the 2001 connection until someone pointed it out to me. Mm-hmm. I didn't actually make the Among Us connection either until someone pointed it out to me. I was just like, oh, solid color spacesuits, interesting. But yeah, so I'm excited to see this movie. Also, Layla the Otter. I can't wait to see Layla the Otter.
I can't wait to see her.
Oh yeah, and the Black Adam, like Adam Warlock shot where he's just like flying towards the camera.
Oh yeah. That's kind of goofy.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Will Porter is playing him. So
one thing I've been hearing about it, there's people complaining about Nebula's figure and how she's no longer super curvy. And there are 2 reasons why that's good. First, they're no longer photoshopping the actress.
Yep.
Which I appreciate. And then 2, for like story reasons and like character development, I think it kind of shows that she's like changing herself to be different than how she was made by Thanos. Mm-hmm. And I think that's good. She's becoming her own person, Mm-hmm. And I like her. She's cool.
Yeah. And also I think a third reason why that's good is she's mostly, from my understanding, mostly mechanical.
Yeah.
So, I mean curvy metal exists, but I don't know that it's the main thing that would happen to her. But yeah,
it's suboptimal.
It looks like she has a new cover for her robotic arm.
Yeah,
that she got
right
fried
arm.
from Endgame.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. And then High Evolutionary looks interesting. Can't wait to see him. The Bowie, the new ship, pretty good. Named after David Bowie, of course.
I am confident that someone is going to die in this movie.
My bet is Drax.
It could be Drax, because I know that Dave Bautista,
Doesn't want to play him anymore. Yeah.
yeah, well, it's not that he doesn't want to play him. I think it's that he doesn't want to get super jacked to play him shirtless.
No, he doesn't want to. He said it was because of the makeup. Because it takes like 3 hours to put on the makeup.
Well, I mean, yeah, I
That's
get that.
understandable.
Yeah. That's painful.
Yeah. And if I had to put on 3 hours of makeup every day, I wouldn't want to do it anymore either.
It reminds me of the Grinch.
Yeah.
Like how he had to learn
Jim
like
Carrey.
CIA anti-torture techniques to not lose his mind while
Yeah.
they were putting makeup on him.
Yeah. And like I'm excited for this movie, and I think Drax definitely will die. I mean, there's a scene where I think Gamora is carrying Peter Quill, and he's like limp or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Peter Quill might die. I don't think he will. I think
There's no way they're gonna kill him.
Yeah, I don't think he's
He's
gonna
such
die.
an icon, you know?
Yeah, and with Rocket, I think you need Rocket to have a happy ending. Because of his torturous past, I think you need Rocket to have a happy ending.
But like the trailer definitely seems like he's gonna die.
Yeah.
You know, with his narration at the end.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see. I love animal characters, so like Rocket Raccoon, Layla, who's in this movie, and Cosmo. I'm super excited to see Cosmo.
I'm excited for more Groot.
Oh yeah,
There's that bit where he's holding like 8 guns and shooting in every direction. That is so cool.
Yeah, apparently his new nickname is Swole Groot.
Swole Groot.
Swole
Yes.
Because
There's Baby Groot, Teenage Groot, and then
Swole Groot.
Swole Groot.
Swole Groot.
I love him. He looks great.
The part where he's like shooting a whole bunch of guns with his arms reminded me of the Bill Barr character from The Mandalorian, the guy with the robot arms.
Guy with the robot arm?
Yeah, he was like in season 1. He was.
Do you mean the IG unit?
No.
Oh.
Bill Barr, the guy who was working as a mercenary, and then he went to a junk shop, and I don't know. It's been a while.
I don't remember this.
It's been a while since I've seen.
It's
seen
cool.
seasons of The Mandalorian.
Characters who
Yeah.
are like shooting in lots of directions at once are
Yeah.
always cool.
Yeah, and plus
There's
he's
just,
like back to back with Star-Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
it's,
just
like,
something
really good.
badass
Yeah.
about it, you know?
Yeah. So our next trailer is Fast X.
Okay.
Here's the thing about this. These movies haven't been good for the last 6 or 7 movies.
They've never been good.
Well, I really enjoyed the 5th one, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5th one, and I think the 6th one was also pretty solid. But the ones after that,
Every single one of them is the same.
literally,
There's
'cause-
some guy, and he's like, "Oh, Dom, I'm coming after your family."
Yeah.
And Dom says, "You'll never take my family from me." And then
Yeah.
there's racing and explosions and cool tricks. And then, you know, there's a bit where he's like, "Oh, I've got you now." And then he's like, "Oh, but you made one mistake. You let me keep my car."
Yeah.
And then
Okay, here's the thing I don't get about the car.
every time.
Here's the thing I don't get about the car.
What about the car?
It's just a normal car.
It's just
It
a
doesn't like have any superpowers, right?
It's just
a normal
it's
car.
just a normal
like
car.
it got hit by a bus in the first movie and exploded. It's not any kind of special car.
It's just a normal car.
I know, but like he's in the trailer, he's acting like it's this like an Iron Man suit. Like
Yeah.
like when Tony Stark gets an Iron Man suit, you know that he's got like an advantage because he can fly and shoot and things.
Yeah,
the
he's
car
normal.
doesn't have any of that. It's just a normal car.
It's just a normal car.
And like oh man. And
All of the conflict is so contrived and esoteric that it doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah. And apparently this is really based off of 5 and 6, which were really good. I don't know if this one is going to be good though. But you're right, all the plots are the same. Like it's someone from Dom's past who has come back to get revenge. First
Yeah.
it was his brother, then it was like Han's brother, and then it was someone's sister and whatnot. And it's just like bring in someone new. Like this is not going to be the last Fast and Furious movie. They're gonna make more.
They're going to make them until they stop making money. And the thing is, they're never going to stop making money because the target audience isn't going to be bored of this, ever.
There was, I don't remember who it was, but someone wanted to bring in Robert Downey Jr. for the 11th movie as this, like, AI nanotech genius.
AI nanotech genius. They're putting Tony Stark in the Fast and Furious movies.
They want to. I'm not
God,
sure
I
if it's
hope
going
they
to happen
don't.
yet. But
Tony Stark has already been done so dirty by the MCU.
I don't like
need...
Tony Stark in the MCU.
What?
I like Tony Stark.
Me too. I love him, but he's been done dirty. The way that he died, it was.
I love the way that he died.
I hated the way that he died.
I love the way that he died. I thought it was super meaningful. At least to me, it was.
I just don't want like a Tony Stark ripoff to be in the Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, and like, I think it would be very hilarious if instead of Robert Downey Jr. they got Sam Rockwell, the guy who plays Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2.
Yes.
That would be really funny.
That would be funny. That would be good. He's a total goof, and I think he would play that role really well.
So do I. And I think Sam Rockwell would do an amazing job. And especially in a franchise like The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
I think he would do an amazing job as, like, being this kind of, like, jokey kind of, like, AI tech genius or whatever. But yeah, so that's Fast X. Now the trailer that everybody's been talking about, The Flash.
Flash!
And honestly, I don't want to say anything good about Ezra Miller, but this movie looks pretty good.
It looks goofy. It looks funny. It looks like it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
They've got an entire berry bush.
Yes. Ignoring everything with Ezra Miller.
God.
Let's just... Like, we can address everything except Ezra Miller.
Okay. We've talked about Ezra Miller before. We don't need to repeat it.
We don't need to repeat it. I honestly am excited for this movie. And, like seeing Keaton Batman,
yes,
it was so good. And, Ben Affleck Batman was also in here. He's, like, talking to Barry or whatever.
So there's going to be 2 different Batmans.
Yeah. Actually, I have a theory about that. I think that there are going to be 3 different Batmans.
Ooh.
Because there's a shot in here that looks... It's like... When like, they're fighting the Kryptonians, in the next shot, it looks like the suit is, like, a different suit. So, I think... I could be wrong, but I'm going to be so happy if I'm right. I think that they're going to bring in a 3rd Batman. I think that they're going to bring in George Clooney.
I'd love that.
Yeah, I'd love a Clooney Batman. I would love them to bring in a Clooney Batman.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson Batman. I don't think that Robert Pattinson Batman would work in this universe.
I don't think either.
Yeah. I was super happy when I saw Keaton Batman.
Yeah, me too.
I loved the classic Batman theme, like the it's just like the slow dun 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 dun.
Yep.
And I love that classic Batman theme. So I'm excited to see him and like the cowl and everything.
Yes.
'Cause like the Affleck Batman is like a more of a like robotic thing, whereas the Keaton Batman is more of like the suit and the belt and the classic kind of style costume, which I'm really excited for. And then obviously they've brought in Clara Kent as Supergirl, and there's a shot where she's like holding something above her head. People have theorized that that's Henry Cavill as Superman. Like, she's holding some sort of body like this above her head. But the camera doesn't show what it is. It just shows that it's like a human-style body. So
yeah.
I don't know. They could bring in Cavill Batman. I think that... Cavill Batman. Cavill Superman. I think that they could bring in Cavill. I know that Cavill was back for this, but I don't know if they cut his scene. Because after James Gunn and Peter Safran took over, I heard that they cut the Cavill cameo. So I don't know if it's him or not, but I don't know. I'm excited to see this movie.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be pretty good. James Gunn has said... I almost said James Cameron again. James Gunn has said that this movie is really good, which he hasn't said about Shazam. So I think that bodes kind of well for The Flash, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. I hope Shazam is good.
Yeah. Me too. But yeah.
Speaking of Henry Cavill, you don't have this in your list, and I just remembered it, but Henry Cavill announced a partnership with Amazon to make a Warhammer 40,000 show.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
I'm a huge Warhammer nerd.
Yeah.
I am so excited. I know that Cavill is, like, really good at sticking to source material and, like, making sure that it's good. And so I really hope that he doesn't let Amazon ruin any of it.
Yeah.
I really hope that he does it right, you know, because it's really easy to get Warhammer wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And he's a nerd, so hopefully he can do it right.
Yeah, and like he's done a good job with like projects like The Witcher before.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be pretty good. Yeah, he might appear in The Flash, he might not. I guess we'll see. But I'm excited for this movie. Yeah, next we got the 30-second spot for Creed 3.
Okay.
From what I hear, the Creed movies have been pretty solid. I saw the
Yeah.
first one, I didn't see the second one, but I've heard that they're pretty solid. So Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, Tessa Thompson.
Yep. He's directing it and acting in it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan is directing and acting.
That can work sometimes. It can not work sometimes, like Adam Sandler.
Coogler did the script, so I think
Gotcha.
Ryan Coogler did the script, so I think it's going to be pretty good.
Sweet.
I liked his performance in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever when he came back. So
I like him in
excited.
everything. He's just good.
Yeah, Michael B.
You know?
Jordan's just a good actor. Yeah, next is Air.
Speaking of Michael Jordans.
Yeah. This is a different Michael Jordan, the basketball player. But yeah, Air is a new movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and Chris Tucker. I think this movie has the potential to be interesting. Personally, I don't care a lot about basketball shoes, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
The
don't
music
really care
was
that much
pretty
either.
catchy. The music was pretty catchy. I didn't find myself very invested in the trailer. But I mean,
You're wearing Nikes.
these are just shoes I got at the. Wait, these aren't Nikes, are they?
It says Air right there.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, wait, these aren't Nikes.
Why did they say Air? Okay, whatever. He's wearing sneakers that say Air.
Yeah. I mean, I have owned Nikes in the past, but I mean, I don't get them on purpose. I just get them because they're
Yeah.
shoes. So, yeah. So I'm excited for Air. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. It's got Matt Damon. So.
I think it's a company trying to humanize itself so that people don't hate it. I have grown to not trust companies at all, like big corporations. But
Yeah.
whatever. Next movie.
Next
Trailer
thing,
pickups.
the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Super Mario Bros.
It's so bad. Chris Pratt is so bad at doing an
Chris
Italian
Pratt-
accent.
Is terrible. Everything else looks amazing.
Yeah.
I really like that they're pulling in Super Mario Galaxy and Mario Kart. They're like pulling in the different games, making it all sort of one thing. Love that. I love the art style. They're not trying to make it look hyper realistic. They're keeping it cartoony. They're keeping the characters looking like they look in the games. Love that. Overall, I think it's going to be like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Jack Black is going to carry as a villain.
I think Anna Taylor-Joy does a pretty good job of being Princess Peach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of hers.
Yeah. So, yeah, this movie looks like it has some good potential except for Chris Pratt.
Except for Chris Pratt.
Except for Chris Pratt.
The way he says wahoo and shit. It's so bad.
Because when I hear Mario in this movie, I think, why is Chris Pratt talking weird? And not this is an Italian plumber.
Yeah.
Also, that plumbing commercial.
The plumbing commercial's funny.
That was funny.
I'm wondering
I thought it was hilarious.
how much of the movie is going to like include the Mario Bros being actual plumbers.
Yeah.
Because I like how it's not just like background set dressing. You know, in the
Right.
Mario games, you don't do any plumbing. Like, he's an Italian plumber, but for all intents and purposes, he's just a guy jumping on things.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But I like how they're including the plumber part. I don't know. It's just silly.
But yeah, so I guess some good potential for this movie. The next one is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
I am hyped.
As a person who plays
You're
Dungeons and
hyped.
Dragons, I love to see a good Dungeons and Dragons movie. And honestly,
Absolutely.
this looks exactly like what Dungeons and Dragons is.
Yes.
Like, I've heard
it's goofy.
Yeah, I've heard people complain that it's silly, but
That's the point.
If you have ever played D&D, you know that it gets silly.
Yeah,
Like-
if you're playing serious all the time, you're doing it wrong.
Right, yeah. And, like, the part where she, like, grabs the brick and, like, holds it above her head to block the thing, I'm like, that's
love that.
absolutely something that a player would come up with.
Yeah.
And, like,
You know, I want to grab a brick. Okay, roll a sleight of hand check. Boom, done.
yeah, the part about the bridge collapsing, I was
Yes.
like, that is honestly something
Yes.
that, like, a DM would do if, like, someone took a wrong step. That is something that a DM would do. And
I like how all the different characters have, like, different attitudes.
Right, yeah.
Like, the paladin guy is really serious.
Yeah.
Is he a wizard or a sorcerer?
The paladin, I think, is a sorcerer.
No. The paladin is a paladin.
Oh, sorry. Is the villain?
No. The guy with the helmet of mind shielding. Yes, I
Oh.
know what the magic item is.
I don't know.
The guy who triggered the bridge mechanism.
Oh, he's I don't think he's either. What is he?
A warlock?
I don't think so.
He's one of the three. He's a spellcaster.
He's a ranger, I think, maybe.
Why would he be a ranger?
I don't know. Rangers are half casters, so
Yeah, but I saw him, like, throw fireballs or something.
I don't know.
At one point,
maybe
and
he's
that's
a
not some-
warlock.
I guess we'll see. He's some kind of full caster. That's
Yeah.
all I know.
Yeah, but Justice Smith looks pretty good. Brad
Chris
Pitt
Pine.
looks pretty good. Chris Pine. Brad Pitt, Chris Pine. Oh my gosh, why am I mixing up all these people?
It's just one of those days.
It's just one of those days.
It's
I
a
guess.
Monday.
Yeah. But yeah, so excited to see that.
Yes.
I'm excited to see an actual bard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting because he's always got the instruments
Mm-hmm.
strapped to his back. So
I'm excited for, like, Forgotten Realms, Sword Coast stuff. I hope that they visit Waterdeep because they're fighting the Red Wizards of Thay, right? So I'm pretty sure the villain isn't going to be Vecna. I'm pretty sure the villains are going to be working for Vecna or like
Yeah.
trying to become liches like Vecna.
right.
So we don't have to worry about that. Yes. I'm so psyched. I don't know how to like properly talk about it. I'm excited.
I am too. Can't wait for this movie.
I heard some people like griping that rules as written, a druid can't turn into an owlbear. And to that I say, you're stupid. It's D&D.
There are no rules in D&D except for the rules. They're more like guidelines than actual rules.
There are rules in D&D. If your DM is cool, they will break every rule.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said he because my current DM is a guy,
Yeah.
and he breaks a lot of the rules.
And
Because
it
it's
makes
more
it fun
fun.
when you break the
Yes.
rules. Yeah. And like they're honestly more like guidelines, I think, than actual rules.
Yeah.
Because it's not like if you don't follow the rules, it's not like you can't play the game anymore. It's just it makes it more fun.
Yeah, it's just more free
Yeah.
form, you know.
And personally, I enjoy that.
Yeah. If you have a druid who like is like, yeah, I really want to turn into an owlbear, then the DM can just like, you know, knock down the stats of an owlbear a little bit, and then boom, done. Go for it.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see this movie. I think it will be a heck of a lot better than the last Dungeons and Dragons movie that they released, which was a straight-to-home video one that completely sucked.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. And
I
hope
haven't seen
don't.
it either, but it looks terrible from what I've heard.
Apparently they made a Dungeons and Dragons show a while ago or
Really?
something. Yeah. And the first thing that they fought, guess what it is? You're going to be wrong.
Gelatinous Cube.
Tiamat.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, I saw a thing about it, and it's like, yep, they sure got it. That's definitely how D&D works. Tiamat, session 1.
Well, I am glad that this movie is coming out, and I definitely will go see this when it releases.
Absolutely, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Next movie, Scream 6. Got a trailer.
Yeah.
Ghostface, I guess, again
Yeah,
for the 6th time.
again,
Tony Rivoli is in this. He wasn't in the thing. I
Jenna
don't know.
Ortega's in
man. There's like a cult, I guess, of like
Scream
ghost
cult.
faces now.
Yeah, it's like, why can't you just make new things?
We don't need a Scream 6.
We don't need a Scream 6.
Yeah, and they're like making a 10th Saw movie now, or like an 11th Saw movie.
God.
There's too many.
And there's
too
a new
many.
Purge
Make
movie every
original
3
horror
years.
movies. Make original horror movies. Like
Yeah.
that movie Smile that released. Original, so good. like, it's one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while. Like,
Yeah.
newer horror movies that I've seen in a while.
We also saw when we went to see Quantumania, we saw a trailer for Boogeyman,
Oh, yeah, Boogeyman, the Stephen King one.
which looked like shit.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it's relying on jump scares, and jump scares are cheap,
Yeah.
you know?
They can
It's-
work, but you have to use them sparingly or else they don't work.
It's like punching you in the gut and then making fun of you for throwing up,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm going to go see Scream 6. Probably
I'm
won't.
not. No.
Yeah.
Screw that.
I probably won't.
I have a friend who's really into Scream. If he invites me to go see Scream 6 with him, I'll go. I'm not going to go otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the next one we have is 65. It's an Adam Driver movie. I quite like this trailer, and I'm excited to go see it because I think it's very interesting.
I don't like this trailer.
Really?
So one, it has jump scares in it,
Mm-hmm.
which I hate because it's cheap writing. And two, the designs of the dinosaurs that they're fighting are incredibly outdated. None of them have any feathers or anything. They are the shrink-wrapped lizards of, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because since then we have, discovered that that's not how dinosaurs look.
Yeah.
Or would have looked, And... at least the Tyrannosaurus isn't standing straight up. It's hunched forward like it should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's still wrong, and I wish they had just gotten it right.
Yeah. Well, I personally am excited for this dinosaur movie.
Yeah.
Because then the question of this movie, I think, becomes, are these humans from another planet, or are these humans from Earth in the future who have somehow gone to the past? And I think that is a very good question. I don't know. I like Adam Driver, so I think he's going to do a really good job in this, and I will probably go see it when it comes out.
Yeah, it'll probably be decent. I just don't like the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Another Super Bowl trailer that we
Yay.
both ended up enjoying was Strays.
Strays! Yes! Oh my god!
It's
okay.
a comedy movie with Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx. And
It looks so stupid, and I love it.
I know. It was hilarious, I thought. I actually
Yeah.
laughed out loud at a lot of points.
Me too.
Randall Park is in this as, the therapy dog.
The therapy dog.
I think it's really hilarious.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. The dog's doing Shrooms joke.
Yeah, I really love the
That's hilarious.
the way that they animated the dogs.
Yeah.
The fact that they're realistic enough, but they're not too realistic.
Mm-hmm.
It strikes a good position between cartoony and realistic, and I think they hit it really well.
Yeah, and I think this movie is going to be so extremely hilarious.
Yeah,
And I'm going to enjoy it so much.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I can't wait for this to come out. I originally, when I first heard the voice, I was like, oh, that's Will Ferrell. And then, through the middle of the trailer, I was like, is that Steve Carell? And then it said Will Ferrell. I'm like, no, I was right the first time. Yeah.
Yeah,
For some reason, I thought it was Steve Carell at one point.
I thought it was Paul Rudd at first.
Paul Rudd.
Because I'm an idiot. I was like, why is Ant-Man talking through this dog? But no, then I quickly realized, I was like, oh, it's not him.
Yeah.
It's someone else that I recognize.
I got Randall Park's voice as the therapy dog. I was like, oh, that's Randall Park.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love Randall Park. He is an amazing actor, I think.
I've got to bring my water bottle to these things. My mouth is so dry right now.
Yeah, so the last Super Bowl thing that we'll cover is there was a Heineken TV spot for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Why?
I thought that was really stupid.
It's
And
so dumb.
I was like, what do you mean ants drink beer? Even it's alcohol-free beer. And also, Disney prides themselves on being, a family-friendly company.
Well, it's friendly. It's family friendly because it's alcohol free.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even alcohol-free beer, I don't know. I thought this was dumb. I
Also-
didn't think it was necessary.
An issue with this is just a gripe I have with alcohol free beer in general is that in a fermentation process, alcohol is a byproduct. And anything below 1.5% alcohol is considered like non-alcoholic. It's a soft drink. And so when things say, oh, alcohol-free, they don't mean alcohol-free. They mean 1.5% or less alcohol. And I just have a gripe with that in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Heineken's joke from Seinfeld.
What's that?
It's a sitcom.
No, I mean,
Jerry
what's the
Seinfeld
joke?
From the 80s. Oh, it's the
You know
joke.
what Seinfeld
sorry,
is.
sorry. The joke is Kramer, Jerry's neighbor, goes into the apartment and he like drinks Heineken and someone comes in and he goes, well, have you been drinking? And he goes, well, I've been drinking Heinekens, and he just does like ads for like 5 minutes straight. He's like, Heinekens, all the juice with all the smell, or something.
What
like
does that even mean?
I don't know, but it was hilarious seeing it, and I mean I absolutely love Seinfeld. It was hilarious.
Wasn't Heineken the origin of that old meme? It's like, oh, I don't always do this, but when I do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
That was a good meme. I miss it.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania Heineken's commercial.
Why?
Two trailers left to talk about. John Wick Chapter 4.
Yes. Oh my god.
Keanu Reeves is basically, I think at this point, indestructible. He's got to be, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean by indestructible?
Like,
do you mean the character?
I mean the character of John Wick.
Yeah.
He's like, he's been through so much stuff. He just seems like indestructible. Like, at this point, there's no way he's like a normal human.
He's just tough, you know? He's just a badass. He is the Baba Yaga. I'm just saying stuff for comedic effect here.
As someone who has seen no John Wick movies.
As someone who has seen every John Wick movie.
I have heard that they're all pretty solid, at least from what I can tell.
They are.
Yeah, so I will probably watch all three before Chapter 4 comes out, because, I don't know, these movies seem pretty good, so I should probably watch them at some point.
They are pretty good.
Yeah. The last trailer we have to talk about is Tetris.
Tetris.
Why? Well, personally, I think Tetris will be interesting, because I like playing Tetris. I find it very interesting. My mom had a Game Boy that she showed me that she had from her past. I thought it was really funny how they revealed the Game Boy.
Yeah.
And
it's like only 10 people in the world have ever seen this.
I liked the 16-bit music Final Countdown.
Yeah?
So I thought that was pretty good. So I'm actually kind of excited for Tetris, which I'll probably watch out when it comes out on, was it Amazon Plus? Or no, Apple Plus.
Apple Plus.
Apple Plus TV.
I'm interested to see how well they do with the historical aspect.
Yeah.
Because, like, Gorbachev was in it, and they're talking about the fall of the Soviet Union, so it's got to be post, like, 1986.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. Now we will get into the main topic of the show. Ant-Man.
Oh my god, main topic. An hour and 7 minutes in. God.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Quantumania.
We'll do this how we normally do this. We'll start off with non-spoilers, and then we'll move into spoilers. I'm not sure how much of this movie we can talk about without doing spoilers, so we'll do our best. Okay, so first off, this movie had a budget of $200 million. And it made, in its domestic opening weekend, about $109,000. Sorry, $109 million. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. 109 million to like 120 million. Okay. So that's what it's projected for the opening weekend.
So their return on investment isn't that good.
No, it'll raise. Like it'll definitely pass 200 million.
Yeah.
Like I'm even thinking that eventually it will be close to like $400 million.
I could see that.
Which is not the best for an MCU movie, but it is the best for an Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
So out of the three Ant-Man movies, this had the biggest.
Didn't
profit.
Market it that much.
They didn't, and
I saw very few ads. I saw like maybe 2.
I don't think that they marketed this as much as they did Wakanda Forever.
Yep. Yeah.
Or something like Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness. I think that this was marketed less. I think you're right.
I think Disney's kind of shooting it in the foot before it gets out to the races.
Yeah. So this movie stars.
You're pulling up the
I just want to
page.
make sure that I get I just want to make sure that I get the main cast.
That's
So
understandable.
yeah. So this movie stars Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, Ant-Man, Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne, Wasp, Jonathan Majors as Nathaniel Richards King the Conqueror, Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne, Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang and Stature, David Deschamel as Veb, William Jackson Harper as Quaz, Katie M. O'Brien as Gentora, and Bill Murray as Lord Krylar.
Yep.
So I thought that the entire cast did a really great job. I thought Paul Rudd was good. I thought Jonathan Majors was amazing as Kang.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The performance with Kang was incredible.
Yeah. I absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see more of him. I thought William Jackson Harper did a really good job. The guy from A Quiet Place.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he was. Wait. No, I'm sorry. The guy from A Good Place. I said A Quiet
Right.
Place. Oh man.
Oh, I was really confused. I was like, what are you talking about? Wait, who did he play in Quantumania?
He was Quaz. He was the mind reader guy. He played Chidi Anagonye from The Good Place.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought he was really good. I thought he was kind of wasted. Like they didn't
he
show
was
him
like
that
barely
much
in
that movie.
it. Give
but
me
yeah.
more. He was funny.
Yeah. So I thought the cast did a pretty good job.
Yep.
I think overall this movie was pretty solid, and I really
Yes.
liked it. There were a lot of things that I liked about this movie. There were a few things that I didn't like, which I'll talk about more in spoilers. But yeah, I thought Catherine Newton did a pretty good job as playing Cassie Lang,
Yeah.
Thatcher. Apparently, Cassie Lang is, not Cassie Lang. Catherine Newton is also good at golf. Apparently, just a random fact.
Oh, okay.
Like her handicap is like +2, which is like really good.
Damn.
So she's pretty good at golf, apparently. The one thing I will say about this movie is called Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I feel like this movie should have been called Ant-Man and Michelle Pfeiffer. Or Ant-Man
Why?
and Janet Van Dyne. Because, like Evangeline Lilly, who plays Wasp, is in this, but I don't think she's in this as much as I wanted her to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like the focus was more on Janet Van Dyne than it was on Hope Van Dyne.
The problem was with the second Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Yeah.
they had to keep that because
Yeah,
if
they
they
had
just
to
go
keep the
back to
title.
Ant-Man,
Yeah.
then people are going to be like, oh, you cringe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They had to keep it. I think that there was a way they could have written this where they could have involved her more.
Yeah.
I don't think that she was in this as much as I would have liked her to be.
Same.
So yeah. Let's see. Any other non-spoiler thoughts? I did have one comment about the Freedom Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were really good. This stuff is all in the trailer, so
Yeah.
I thought like the Freedom Fighters were really interesting. I really loved Katie M. O'Brien as Gentora. I liked the fact that the buildings are walking and alive.
They're so cool.
They're
It's such a
cool.
neat idea.
Yeah, and I like the fact that like Kang is like the reason that he hasn't left yet is because he's greedy. And he wants to take, like, he could have left just with his time chair, but he wanted to, like, bring his entire army with him to conquer the whole multiverse. And I liked that fact. I've seen a couple of people complaining.
But he couldn't have left. He needed his thingy.
The multiversal power core, yeah.
Yeah, is that spoilers?
I don't think so, because it's in the trailer, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think he could have left, couldn't he?
Maybe?
Because at the end, when he gets the multiversal power core, he's like charging up his entire city so that.
Yeah, but he needed it in the first place to leave.
Well, I know, but when he gets it, like towards like the latter half of the movie, he could have just like taken his time chair and left. But he was like making sure that he got his entire fleet ready to travel before he went away.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I like the design of Axia, the city. It's pretty good.
It's neat.
Bill Murray is funny. I think.
I love the faceless goons.
The faceless. Oh, the Kang's Guard.
Yeah, Kang's Guard. I love their like robotic voices. I couldn't tell if it was like a voice vocoder or if it was supposed to be like they're all robots.
I couldn't tell if they were robots or humans.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
Or, like living creatures. Like
I loved it. They're great and funny.
I thought Michael Douglas did a really good job as Hank Pym.
Yep.
He was really good. I appreciated David Dechamel's voice as Veb.
Yep.
Veb was really funny. I said this when I thought at the end when I thought the Luxo lamp, the big guy with the
yeah.
I thought his name was Solomon. It's
Okay.
not. It's Zolom.
Zolom
With an X. So Zolom.
Okay.
It's I heard it sort of
I was
incorrectly.
looking in the credits
Yeah.
and I couldn't find them.
Yeah. Because his name is Zolom, not Solomon.
Yeah.
And after I found that, I was like, oh, that's why I heard it incorrectly. But yeah, he's funny.
I'm gonna look that character up now.
Yeah.
Because they're so cool. And then they
plays-
died and they got so little screen time.
James Cutler is the guy who plays.
Oh wait, that's a spoiler. Shit.
The guy who plays him. Which one?
Hmm?
About Zolom?
I said a spoiler.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
I'm sorry.
Actually, let's just jump into spoilers.
Is this how you spell it?
X XOLUM.
Lum.
XOLUM. Zolom. But yeah, so we can go ahead and give our spoiler warning right now. So
Spoilers.
click off right now if you don't want to hear spoilers.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Everyone dies. The end.
Everyone dies, maybe. Depends on the end credit scene. About whether or not everything will be destroyed.
Right.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to address that we couldn't address in the non-spoiler section, MODOK.
MODOK.
I called it. I think last month I
Yep,
said that they were
you
going to
did.
pull a Darth Vader. That was exactly what that scene looked like.
Yes.
Darth Vader.
Quite literally.
I was so proud of myself. And
I love him.
Yeah.
He's horrible.
he's supposed to be horrible, and like people are complaining that he looks hideous. He's supposed to be hideous.
He's
that's the point.
terrifying, and I love it.
I think it helps that Corey Stoll was already bald in the first Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
So it was easier to tell that it was him as MODOK. And I like the mechanized organism designed only for killing. I loved MODOK, except for the end when they cracked that dick joke.
Yep.
Like, he's like, I'm not a dick. I'm like, this is like the cringiest line I have ever heard.
Okay. I think that they were going for a joke, and the joke didn't land very hard.
Yeah.
I think that if his character arc had started earlier, they could have done it better. But as it was, he went from, I am going to kill Cassie, to, I'm going to sacrifice myself so that everyone can win, in like less than 10 minutes screen time.
Yeah.
It was like genuinely like maybe 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it felt too sudden. They could have done it earlier.
Yeah. And, like, I just thought the dialogue between MODOK and Cassie when MODOK's on the ground, he's like, tell me what to be. I was like, what? That's like some of the cringiest dialogue I've ever heard.
I thought it was funny.
I
thought that part was good.
I laughed at first, but then I thought, this dialogue is very cringy. And I don't know. I couldn't get past that part for MODOK, at least.
That's fair.
But other than that, I really liked MODOK.
Yeah. Okay, I have another gripe about MODOK.
Okay.
When MODOK is first sent out to get, I can't remember his name, Ant-Man and Cassie. He's like, raining fire down upon the rebels or whatever, the freedom fighters. And his guns make this really great noise. The sound designer who made that noise needs to be given 1, a promotion, and 2, head. But then later he's using the same guns and they use a much shittier sound. It is so boring, and it's like, why?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because, like, when I first heard it, I was like, really appreciating it. I was like, oh my god, that is such a good sound. I can't wait to hear this over and over and over again in the final battle. None of it. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I really enjoyed MODOK.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny. I think MODOK is like the equivalent of Miss Minutes is to like He Who Remains in Loki. Because like He Who Remains had a little robot minion, Miss Minutes.
Yeah.
So Kang has a little robot minion, MODOK. And I thought that was a really interesting comparison that I thought of. But yeah, and like I thought one of the things that I think this movie is missing. Where is Michael Pena?
Who's Michael Pena?
He plays Luis.
Yes! Oh my god!
I just wanted Luis so
Why?
badly in this movie. I miss the Luis recaps.
Yeah.
When he like talks fast and it's
so good.
Yeah. I honestly think that like you could have sent him to the quantum realm too. And I think it would have
Yeah.
been funny, like him, like
Just
looking
like
at
a
all the
normal
weird stuff.
Guy?
Yeah, because like you see him freak out when he sees Ant-Man shrink. So
Yeah.
like imagine what he would be like in the quantum realm where everything is like super weird. I would have liked to see that honestly.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, I mean you could have put Michael Pena in. You could have put David Deschanel in as his character. Kurt, I mean, not as Veb, although he could have still voiced Veb.
Yeah, he
Veb.
could have done both.
He's
really talented.
You can't put in T.I. for reasons that we won't talk about. But
Yeah.
I would have liked to see ex-con security consultants.
Me too.
I also would have liked to see Judy Greer and Bobby Cannavale back
Yeah.
as Maggie Lang and Jim Paxton.
They were mentioned? Or the mom was
I
mentioned.
thought it was really weird that they didn't show up.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah, and like honestly,
Even in the birthday scene at the end,
yeah, like
they weren't there.
my
What the
question
heck?
is,
Are they dead?
why didn't Paxton show up at the jail when Cassie's arrested? Because
Yeah,
Cassie,
he's literally a police officer.
yeah, he's literally a police officer with the San Francisco Police Department.
His step kid is in jail. Why would he not show up?
Right. And I just thought it was weird that they weren't in this. They totally could have been in this.
Yep.
And even though I think Catherine...
I just didn't want to pay the actors.
Yeah. Even though I think Catherine Newton knocks it out of the park as Cassie, I still kind of miss Abby Ryder-Fortson, the girl who played Cassie in the first two movies.
Yeah, baby
She was
Cassie.
cute and adorable.
Yeah, she was great.
But yeah, so I really like to see that. Another thing I noticed was this is the 31st MCU film and also is coincidentally the same amount of flavors that Baskin-Robbins has.
Oh my
They have
god.
31 flavors of ice cream.
They have 31 flavors of ice cream.
Yeah. I've also
How the
never
fuck
been
do
to
you
a
notice this
Baskin-Robbins.
shit?
I don't know. I've also never been to a Baskin-Robbins.
I've never been to Baskin-Robbins.
I would love to go to
There's a Baskin-Robbins
Oh, I
within
know.
walking distance.
Yeah, I know. I should go there sometime. But like, I want to go to a Baskin-Robbins. I've heard it's really expensive though. But I thought it was
Expensive.
as compared to like other ice cream places. I don't know. I don't eat ice cream at places all the
I
time.
haven't eaten at Baskin-Robbins since I was like a child, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought it was really funny how they brought Baskin-Robbins back and how Scott like got the like Employee of the Century award.
Yeah.
And he's still like wearing his name tag that says Jack on it. I thought that was funny. Dale is
Dale.
back from the first movie.
He came out of cake making retirement to bake the worst cake
I
ever.
thought that was hilarious.
I loved that. That was so dumb, and I
it
love
was
it.
so dumb and so good.
Oh man.
I thought Ruben was hilarious. Ruben is the owner of Bridge Donuts, the coffee shop that Ant-Man goes into. He's like, "Thank you, Spider-Man."
Yeah. The first time he gives him the stuff for free, and the second time he doesn't.
Yeah, because he realizes he's not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really hilarious. And the thing I wanted to point out with that is the actor who plays Ruben is also named Ruben.
Nice. So he's just playing himself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sort of. He was also another character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I think his name was Cordoza. He was just like a small shopkeeper. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Let's see. Any other major things that I wanted to touch on? Oh, we should talk about the post-credit scene. About Kang and the Council of Kangs.
The Council of Kangs.
Apparently being led by Immortus, Silver Centurion, and Pharaoh Rama Tut.
Yep.
All variants of Kang from the comics, which I thought was really interesting. You see a whole bunch of Kangs.
They're all like teleporting in.
They're all everywhere. Interestingly enough, an Easter egg to Rama Tut was actually in Moon Knight.
Oh.
One of the disciples of Amit has like a design on their back that looks like Rama Tut. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I also thought it was interesting. Victor Timely, another variant of Nathaniel Richards. At the end, Loki and Mobius are watching him, and I am honestly excited for Loki season 2.
I'm skeptical.
I love Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, he's good.
I love Owen Wilson.
He's good.
I love Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Apparently this season will have more Jonathan Majors than the last one. So I'm excited.
All I know is that the first season of Loki ended very
terribly.
weirdly.
Yeah. It was more of a setup for the second season rather than wrapping up the plot of the first season.
That's dumb.
Yes, there is a balance to be struck between setting up a second season and wrapping up the first season. This just completely ditched the wrapping up, though.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. But I... apparently the director or writer, Kate Herron, isn't returning for season 2, so I don't know. It might be better.
Hope it's good.
I like Owen Wilson a lot.
Yep.
So I can't wait to see him and Jonathan Majors and Tom Hiddleston. Because Loki's a goofy character. I like him. Oh yeah, the other thing we need to address. Do you think that Kang died?
No.
I don't think he died either. In fact, I'm pretty sure that he ended up in one of those probability storms, and he's going to have to find a way to get out.
Yeah.
Because, like, I understand that this isn't the only version of Kang the Conqueror, but I think it would be weird to introduce another main version of Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously when you do that with He Who Remains, it's different because you call one He Who Remains and one Kang the Conqueror. But if
it specifically said at the end,
Right.
Kang will return.
Right. And if you have two Kang the Conquerors, I think it makes it too weird. So I think you have to bring the same version.
The other ones have specific names that aren't Kang. This guy is just Kang.
Right. Yeah.
So it has to be him.
Right. And the other thing I've seen is, like, with Immortus, Silver Centurion, and Rama Tut.
Mm-hmm.
In Loki, when he's in the Citadel at the end of time, his little house in the void, when Loki and Sylvie first walk in, there's 4 statues. One of them is crumbled. So they were thinking that those statues were Immortus, Silver Centurion, Rama Tut, and Kang the Conqueror, but since Kang the Conqueror was exiled, his statue crumbled.
I could see that.
I could see that too.
I could see that.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see these other variants of Kang because...
He was exiled because he's the Kangiest of Kangs.
Right. Oh, yeah, the other thing is, like, when
Like
he's...
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if there's a council of Kangs, it's the council of Ricks. I hate it.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, I, like, completely forgot that Jonathan Majors was, like, completely jacked until that final scene where he's, like, beating up Ant-Man and he, like, loses his, like, armor and you can see, like his huge muscles.
He's,
like this dude is ripped.
Damn.
Yeah. And
the superhero workout.
Yeah. I thought Jonathan Majors did an amazing job. I cannot wait to see him.
Absolutely.
I'm also interested to find out if he will be related to Reed Richards, because he is in the comics. But we don't know who's going to be playing Reed Richards. I mean, it was John Krasinski, but I don't think that they're getting him back for the main Fantastic Four movie.
Right, they're making a Fantastic Four movie.
Right, yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see if they're related. Also, I guess technically he has not been called Nathaniel Richards yet, although I don't think that there's any doubt that they're going to call him Nathaniel Richards at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I am just so excited to see Jonathan Majors because I think he does a really good job portraying like these different roles. And I mean, I'm just blown away by his acting. I think he's really good.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I think he's a great addition. So I'm excited to see where the MCU goes from here. And I mean, everything with Ant-Man, like at the end, wondering whether or not he's actually done the right thing by
Yeah.
quote unquote killing Kang. I like that it's like still haunting him.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that he thinks about, or it's not something that he's gonna stop thinking about.
It makes me sort of think about Iron Man in Iron Man 3.
Right, yeah, Tony Stark's PTSD.
And Ultron. The like paranoia about like, oh, what the heck is coming next? I need to prepare, I need to be ready, I need to be nervous all the time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the other thing is I enjoyed my little Randall Park cameo. Like I love Jimmy Woo as a character. I don't know why. I just love Jimmy Woo. He's great. I love that he was like in it for one scene. I mean, I could have used more of him personally, but I mean, I get it, and I'm just happy he was in this. I thought it was really funny that they were finally eating like lunch together.
Yeah.
Because they made that joke in the previous movie.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, you asking me on a date?
Yeah, he's like, I mean, do you want to grab dinner? Because I'm free. I thought it was really funny, and I appreciated that Jimmy Woo was in this. Although I could have used Michael Pena and David Deschanel's character, and honestly Judy Greer and Bobby Cannavale, because I think they were missing. And so sad.
It's also a much shorter movie.
It is. It's one of the shortest MCU movies because I think it's only at 124 minutes.
Yeah, it's harder to get that many actors in it. Right.
Yeah. I will talk about a couple more things with the quantum realm. For me, it seemed this was a problem, and I don't think it was a problem for a lot of people, but it was a problem for me personally. The quantum realm felt more like space than the quantum realm.
Yes.
And I was just thinking, I mean, you could have this all in space, and it would be the same thing. Like, give me something that's unique to the quantum realm.
They went to another planet.
Yeah. I mean, you could have done this on another planet. It would have been the exact same thing.
And it's sort of indicative of a problem that I have with the MCU. In Ant-Man 1, the quantum realm was like infinite nothingness. You know, there were these like neat refraction effects, and he was like gone forever. Yeah, cool, awesome. Then in the second movie, there was like a little bit of quantum realm, but it was just like this weird alien thing place. And it seemed like, oh yeah, I guess that could be like one step up from what Scott was in the previous movie. And then this one,
it's just space.
It's just space. It's just space. Yeah. Even the like tunnels between places, they are reminiscent of
wormholes.
The in Thor Ragnarok.
Sakaar?
Sakaar. All the tunnels and stuff on Sakaar. You know.
Yeah.
The city just felt like Sakaar, but more organized.
I completely agree with that, and like, they address it somewhat in the movie, but not really. It's just a throwaway line about Subatomica. Yeah. Because like Hank Pym's like, well, how come I've never seen this before? And she's like, well, you can never look through the void in Subatomica. So in the first Ant-Man movie, I think where he's in like that black kind of like refraction nothingness, I think that is the quantum void she's talking about. And then Subatomica, I think
past that.
Subatomica is past that, and I think that's where Hank found Janet.
Right.
I think that was Subatomica, and then past that is like the land of like Axia and everything like that, which is just the equivalent of space.
It's space.
Which I mean, fine, I guess, but like give me something that's unique to the quantum realm. Yeah. Like give me a reason why I should care that this is like incredibly small and not like the universe.
Yeah, like the whole drink the ooze part. Yeah. Was funny.
Yeah. I thought the broccoli man was really funny.
The broccoli guy was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Zalem cool.
Was cool.
A lot of the characters are really neat.
Yeah.
But it's still just space.
the
It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
right, yeah. And like the few things I liked about like the fact that it was the quantum realm was you get a lot of these like smaller you get a lot of these like critter looking creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But my complaint though is that there weren't enough of them.
Yeah.
You need more critter looking creatures.
Give us more critters.
And also like a really good thing about Ant-Man, the Ant-Man movies, I feel two of the best parts are the heists and the ants.
Yes.
This movie didn't have enough of either.
Yeah, the ants were at the end for basically
Yes.
just a Deus Ex Machina.
And like I loved the ants at the end.
Mm.
I just thought that there should have been more ants
Yes, absolutely.
in a movie called Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of ants, like
They showed up at like one of the midpoints.
Yeah.
And then they showed up at the final fight, and that was it. And I mean,
Yep.
I guess they were mentioned in the beginning.
yeah, because in the ant farm,
Yeah.
which I thought that was really cool.
They went through thousands of years of evolution in seconds.
Yeah.
Cool, but also like why?
Yeah, and I mean, I want to see more of like Hank Pym being like this like ant controller because like I
Yeah.
love how Hank Pym is just like turning into this like senile old man who's obsessed with ants.
Give him a different name. Instead of being Ant-Man, call him Ant King.
Yeah.
Boom, done. You know? Easy.
Yeah. I just thought it needed more ants, and the other thing is I thought it needed more of a heist. Like you get that a little bit with the multiversal power core,
Not
but it's
really.
not enough.
It's not an actual heist. It's
Right.
like it's a neat idea, and then
Right.
like, oh, you know, they all unite because of his love for Cassie. Woo!
Yeah.
Not really? Is that really what we go for? No?
Yeah. I wanted more of a heist. Scott's a thief.
Yeah, Scott's a thief.
I love him like
He's not even stealing a thing, he's just retrieving it.
right. Yeah, and like I mean, it would be fine, I guess, if the multiversal power core was hidden away by something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's just there, and like
Yeah.
Kang sends him in to go grab it.
Yeah, it's literally just go into this like really dangerous place, grab a thing, and come back.
I guess my complaint is that anybody could do that. You don't have to be a thief to do that.
You don't even have to be Ant-Man.
Right. I just want to see someone who... I just want to see Scott use his thief skills.
Yeah.
I want to see him pick locks, see him break into a place. That's what I loved about the first Ant-Man movie. I mean, you constantly see him breaking into things.
Yeah, it was
and like
awesome.
even in the second one, he's got to steal back the mobile lab.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really cool. It's just in this one, he didn't steal enough things. And I mean, I get the message about family, and that is an important message. I just think it could have done with more heist.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Ant-Man is, I think, at its core, a heist character who needs to have heists.
That's like that's his defining trait in the first movie is that he's an ex-con
Right.
who was an expert thief.
Right. VistaCorp was mentioned, that company that he stole from the first movie,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool. In Bridge Donuts, the donut shop, they mentioned like a whole bunch of the coffees and the donuts are like named after San Francisco things. So there's like Pier 39, the Golden Gate,
Nice.
things like that. There were a whole bunch of like San Francisco landmarks. Like there was the Transamerica Tower or Transamerica Pyramid. Alcatraz Island was in the background when they're sitting on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yep.
And the Pym Van Dyne Foundation. So it went like from like Pym Technologies, Cross Technologies, Pym Van Dyne Foundation.
Yeah.
Because apparently it's the same company, just under a different name.
I still don't understand how Hope like took it back or whatever.
She took over
Yeah.
from Hank. But
From Cross, you mean?
Right, from Cross, yeah. But here's another thing about like, because when they're in the building, like the Pym Van Dyne Foundation building, they like put their suits on and they just like press a button in the middle of the chest, and it reminded me kind of like Tony Stark's armor.
Yeah.
I like the non-nanotech, like kind of like the clunky helmet and like the retractable one. It doesn't have to be nanotech. It can be retractable.
Yeah, because it's not it's not nanotech, it's normal tech that's just shrinking and growing.
Yeah, I think one of my complaints,
which is awesome.
One of my complaints about the MCU now is that everybody has nanotech,
Yep.
and it's just like these, like, you can press a button, the suit goes away.
Boom, suit.
I like the you gotta put on your helmet, you gotta put on the suit. It's a physical thing. It doesn't just go away.
Yeah.
I like the design of the physical suits and not like the nanotech suits, but I get that they had to find a way to like give them the suits while they were in the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm. And so they have to keep them in their pockets.
I also love how like Cassie at the beginning of this is just like a political activist.
I love that.
And she like goes up to the cop and she goes, "Here's your cop card." And I am so happy about the fact that like Scott is trying to train her to be a superhero, and he gave her a suit and the Pym particle discs, and he's trying to train her. But
he didn't give her a suit. Hank did.
Was it Hank?
Yeah.
No, it was Scott, wasn't it?
Because he's surprised that she has a suit later, and he's like, "You have a suit?" And she's like, "Yes, I have a suit."
No, because I thought he knew that she had the suit. He just didn't know that she had the suit with her.
No.
Oh, that's how I took it.
Oh. But at the dinner table conversation,
yeah,
there was like that whole back and forth about him like not being told about this stuff or whatever.
About Cassie being arrested.
I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm confused. I thought that it was like they were doing this stuff and he didn't know about it at all.
I thought it was... I thought that Scott knew that she had the suit, and I thought Scott was the one who gave it the suit. But I don't know. Also, I forgot, but the pizza reference where they like drip the thing on the pizza, I think it's reference to like Back to the Future or something, where they like have a microwave pizza or like an instant pizza or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. It was a reference to something.
I still don't understand how the shrinking and growing, it doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to it.
You can't make it have scientific sense.
And so I've sort of like decided it's magic. I don't care.
Yeah.
Growing a pizza from like an 8-inch to a 13-inch, love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought that was...
That was so silly. And
also, like... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, it was funny. That's it.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, like, are Scott and Hope married? Because, like, Cassie calls Hank Grandpa Hank. So yeah. I don't know if they're married or what.
I don't think they're married, but I think they're in, like, a committed relationship.
Oh, I mean, definitely. But I'm, like, not sure if they're married or... Like, is Hope Cassie's stepmom?
It was never mentioned, and I don't think they have rings. So I think it's still ambiguous.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I would like them to clarify that at some point.
That would be nice. Yeah.
That would be nice, yeah. The other thing, Scott Lang's book. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh my god, his book is... Oh my god.
Look
out for the little guy.
I have ordered that book on Amazon, and I'm going to read it when it comes out in September. I'm sad that I have to wait that long to read it, though.
I wonder who the ghostwriter was for that.
Me too. I mean, well, Scott Lang, obviously, but like, who actually wrote the book?
Scott Lang, quote unquote, wrote it.
Right, yeah.
I'm wondering who actually wrote it.
And I love the part where he's in the car, and he
and
plays the podcast.
Yes.
She goes like, God. "Dad, are you listening to your own book?" And he goes, "No, this is the radio."
This is the radio, definitely. I definitely wasn't listening to my own book.
And it's
like the giant closet narcissist I am.
And it's like Scott's voice saying, "And then the Hulk turned me into a baby. Was I the Hulk's baby?" I thought that was just, it made me laugh so much. I was, look out for the little guy. Oh, so excited. So excited to see that. And I thought, like, also, like, when, like, Scott talks about saving the world. And Hank goes, "Oh, yeah, well, I didn't know you saved the world. You haven't mentioned that 300 times.
Guys, did you hear? Scott saved the world.
Yeah. And, that just reminded me of Rhodey when he does that joke in what did he do that joke? Because he's like talking about Tony Stark. He's like, oh, you saved the world, you haven't mentioned it.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, was that in... Oh my god. I think that was in Ultron.
Oh, no, I think it was Iron Man 3, because he was talking about saving New York.
Right.
He goes, I saved the world, and Rhodey's like, well, you haven't
mentioned...
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you remember when I fell through a hole? Wait! No. That wasn't Ultron.
Which one was it?
It was...
Iron Man 3.
No. It was in Ultron.
It was?
Because everyone else was there. It was after Ultron escaped, and everyone was, like, talking to Tony, and they're like, oh, why would you do this?
Oh, you're
and
right,
he's like,
you're right.
Everyone, a hole opened, 100 feet up, and I had to fly a nuke in it, and it's like, no, you've never talked about it.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. It was that. So that reminded me of Rhodey's comment.
Yeah.
And also, like, in any other context, someone saving the world would be like, okay, you have permission to do nothing for the rest of your life. But in the MCU, if you save the world, it's just kind of like...
Yeah, good job. Continue.
Yeah. Good job.
Do it again next time.
Yeah. So I thought that was a hilarious joke.
I think it's worth noting that Scott Lang did literally save the world.
Yep.
Without him, Endgame would not have happened.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy who came up with the idea for time travel through the quantum realm.
Yeah. I guess if you want to get more technical, it was the rat.
Okay. There
The rat is the savior of the universe.
You're not wrong.
Another thing that reminded me
that
of...
rat.
Yeah, thinking of Avengers Endgame, you remember those posters that were released that it had, like, the colored posters for the people who didn't get snapped? And someone made a spoof of the poster.
For the rat?
It was... No, not for the rat. For MODOK. Because at the end, when, like, MODOK's like, at least I died in Avenger. Someone made a poster, it's like MODOK, and it's like gray, and it says it says Avenge the Fallen.
Avenge the Fallen!
So I saw that, I thought it was really hilarious.
I can't believe he's dead.
Yeah,
man.
I also love at the end where MODOK is, like, talking to Scott, and he's like, you were always a brother to me, Scott, and Scott's just like, what? He's like, dude, I've known you for, like, 5 minutes.
So, at the end of the first Ant-Man, Darren gets remarkably unhinged.
Yeah.
I think that carries over.
Yeah.
I think he's still a little crazy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And I just, like, it's just hilarious. I thought that joke was hilarious because, like, Darren's just like, at least I died in Avenger, and Scott's just like, sure, buddy.
Sure. You did it.
Sure.
You're so proud.
Yeah, you if you want to, and I also appreciated, like, that little, like, that green, like, life monitor thing that he had.
Why is that
like,
there?
Flatlined. Well, that's his design in the comics. It's there. I just appreciated it, like, flatlined at the end.
It's so goofy.
I thought it was funny. I also enjoyed, like, the giant crystal in his forehead too.
Yeah.
That, like, makes him do the thing. Oh, it was so funny. MODOK was goofy and funny, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in their 4th season wanted to use MODOK, but
They weren't allowed to.
They weren't allowed to because they asked...
Good, they would have done it terribly.
Right, because they didn't... I don't think they... Like, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they didn't have the budget to do MODOK.
They did not have the budget to do him well.
So I'm glad that they saved him for this one.
Yeah.
And originally, Paul Rudd wanted Ant-Man 3 to be kind of like a smaller scale and involve AIM. Still, like, have MODOK, but have MODOK come from AIM instead of, like, being from the quantum realm. And honestly, I think this movie is necessary, but I think I would have liked to see a smaller...
AIM was in Iron Man 3.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was already, like, dealt with. I thought they were...
They're still around, apparently. Like,
yeah,
there was an Easter egg in Loki about them. Like, do you remember, like, the second episode where we get, like, our first look at Sylvie and she's, like, standing with the lantern?
Right,
and
yeah.
You remember the reason they went there was because of the shovel? And, like, the shovel, like, someone had found a gold mine and traveled to the past. Whatever.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Anyway, the shovel said it was made by AIM.
Great.
Yeah, and also people were like theorizing that like Sonny Birch from the second Ant-Man movie was working for AIM because he like talks about a mysterious benefactor.
Oh,
so people were like theorizing that was AIM.
Could be.
Think
tank.
I think that like a smaller Ant-Man heist movie would have worked pretty well for this. I think this movie was fine. I thought it was.
I liked it.
It's pretty solid, I think.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, I have some complaints.
Like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So yeah, I thought this was solid. I mean, it wasn't like the best Marvel movie of all time, but I think it's pretty solid.
Way worse.
It could have been way worse.
There's so much that could have been terrible.
Right. It could have been way worse, and I'm just glad that it wasn't, and that it was actually, kind of a good movie. And I like if I had to give this a recommendation, I would say go watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say it's worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Idea.
What?
We should make that our new rating system. At the end of when we review like a project or something.
Okay.
We'll ask ourselves, is it worth the price of admission? And it's a yes or no answer. There's like no in between. Is it worth the price of admission? I would say that this is worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say...
How much were the tickets again?
$13.
It's worth it.
$13, AMC recliners, drinks, popcorn, candy.
God, the food was expensive.
Yeah. I mean, the movie theater industry is dying, unfortunately. I love the theater experience. I love like seeing it on the giant screen and stuff.
I hate the ads.
The
ads for AMC played at AMC.
Oh, the Nicole Kidman ad?
They just make me uncomfortable.
It's
like, we come here for magic. No, we don't. I come here to watch movies.
It's
obviously trying to get people to be like, oh yeah, the movies are so important to me. I should go to the movies more often so that the movie industry doesn't die out. Mm-hmm. But it just doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think you're right that it tries to do that and it fails.
Yeah.
I do think that the movie industry is important, and I will fight to keep cinemas around because I love seeing movies in theaters. Like, I went to go see Endgame in theaters, one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I remember sitting in an IMAX theater watching Endgame, and when Cap turned around and Sam said, "On your left," the entire theater just erupted in applause, and it was just so amazing. Yeah, I saw Endgame a few times, and I remember that happened with Endgame, it happened with Infinity War, happened with Spider-Man for No Way Home.
Yep.
And I just love the theater experience, and I was so lucky that I got to see Black Widow in theaters because it released both to Disney Plus and theaters. Not a lot of theaters had it. So I was lucky that I got to go see it.
I watched it on Disney Plus with my mom while I was sick. It wasn't a good time.
I have seen every MCU movie in theaters from Civil War, except for Avengers Endgame on the day that it released. Because when Endgame came out, I was in New York on a band trip.
Oh.
I had to wait 4 days. I had to avoid spoilers for 4 days.
Cut yourself off from the internet.
I cut myself off from the internet. I was like, I'm not going to see anything. I waited 4 days. I was so lucky that I didn't get it spoiled. And immediately when I got back, I was sick. But I was like, Mom, I need to go see Avengers Endgame. I cannot wait another day.
I need my fix.
And it was so good. And I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really hope that cinemas stick around. Because
Me too.
I mean, you can't replace the cinema experience, I don't think. Not unless you have like a home theater, and even then when you have a home theater, like you can't get like the surround sound and like the projector.
I think my issue is that while I'm watching something, I like to talk about it with the person next to me. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that in the movie theater or else people are going to fucking hate you.
Yeah.
You know?
That is true because I mean, I don't mind talking about the movie while it's happening, but it just doesn't work in a theater.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And I remember I went to see Spider-Man No Way Home for like the third time when it came out. Mm-hmm. There were little kids in there. They were making noise. It was completely terrible.
Yeah.
And I went with like members of my newspaper club, and they were talking, and that I didn't mind. I was more focused on the little kid in front of me who was like screaming his head off. And like a little thing about like movie theater etiquette, do not bring little kids to adult movies.
Yeah, just don't.
Like the kid was like 5. What are you doing in a PG-13 movie?
Yeah. PG-13 means parental guidance with 13-year-olds.
Right.
Like the 13-year-old needs parental guidance.
Right. And I would say like I would understand maybe if it's a movie like Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
But this is like Spider-Man No Way Home. This is a
Even
PG-13
Toy Story 4
movie.
was PG, right?
Yeah. Even
That's
that
still
was PG.
parental guidance.
Yeah.
You know?
And like I didn't like it, and there were just a whole bunch of like kids screaming. I think there were like 3 or 4 of them.
I don't understand it. When I was a kid, whenever I went to the movie theaters, I was silent.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to do. Yeah.
I listened to the big people on the screen that said, be quiet. And I said, okay, I'll be quiet.
Don't ruin the movie.
Yeah, don't ruin the movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel old. I'm only 19, but man, kids these days.
I would agree with that. Kids these days.
Kids these days.
Man.
Why they gotta be like that?
Yeah. And I just like, quick word about movie theater etiquette. Don't bring your kids to adult movies, please.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah. Respect other people and their experience.
Respect your kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, adult movies are not for kids.
Right. Yeah.
They're not going to get it.
Get a babysitter. Then go see the movie.
Get a babysitter. Or, if you really want to see the movie, but your partner doesn't, how about your partner watches the kids?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And it's just like, it's just that thing about you got to be respectful for other people.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that, because you're not the only one in the theater. There are other people there with you. And you just have to make sure that you want to give them the same experience that you want to have.
Yeah.
And shouting little kids is not a good way to do that, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's just not great. I remember, like, when I went with my ex-girlfriend to go see Morbius.
Morbius.
This guy in front of us.
They sold him 4 billion tickets.
4 billion tickets. This guy in front of me, after the movie ended, he turned his phone on, and his phone was like at like 1,000% brightness, and I was just like, oh, my eyes.
Oh my gosh.
It was just, it like blinded me. And like, I don't think the dude was expecting it either, because like he pressed his home screen button. I like visibly saw him flinch. I was like, dude,
I've done that though. You open your
down.
phone at like a dark place and it's on like full brightness and you just flashbang yourself. It's like, ah!
Yeah. And the other thing is like, when people like use their phone during the movie and they're sitting like right in front of you.
Oh my god.
I've been in theaters where that's happened before, and
it's like,
I don't
there
like
goes my immersion. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's okay if like the theater is clapping, but like if it's just one person who's like clapping, it's not good. It's
if it's a
annoying.
moment in the movie where something like really triumphant happens and everyone's cheering,
like when Thor, Rocket, and Groot arrive in Wakanda.
Yeah.
In Infinity War.
It's okay to cheer, you know?
Yeah.
If like there are points where it is okay to laugh, to cheer, to go, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Under your breath or something.
To like get jump scared or like cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there are moments for that. It's just like don't be the only one and don't have little kids there.
Yeah.
And I just
How did we get to this topic?
Ant-Man in theaters movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like just don't bring your little kids, man. Find a way to take care of them.
Also, go to the bathroom
Before.
Yeah. I made that mistake.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you always gotta go before. Yeah. Just to make sure you don't miss anything during the movie.
I really like ices, you know?
Ices, yeah. I don't drink soda. So like anything with like carbonation.
It's not carbonated.
Oh, is it not?
No. It's ice.
Oh.
It's like shaved ice with flavoring.
Oh, really? I thought it was made with like soda.
No.
Well, I might have to try one then.
It's like a little you know when you freeze root beer?
No.
Okay.
I've never had frozen root beer.
You've never had frozen... Okay.
No.
Dude, root beer popsicles, amazing. And root beer floats, amazing. Point is, when you freeze something with carbonic acid in it, it does have like a kind of sparkly taste, but it's not painful at all. It's just the taste.
I'll have to try one then. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I'll buy you one next time we go for a movie. They're good.
Oh yeah, I'll try it.
If
then.
you don't like it, I'll drink it.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's it for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. You got any last thoughts?
It's good.
Yeah, it's
Watch it.
good. Worth the price of admission, I think.
Worth the price of admission.
Yeah. So go see it. I think that's the end. Oh, one other thing. In the comics, apparently the acronym for MODOK is different. It's mental organism designed only for killing. In the MCU, it's mechanized organism designed only for killing, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, because, like, MODOK in the comics is, like, engineered to be super smart and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
he's part of the intelligentsia, which in this is just a bunch of hateful man babies from She-Hulk. Because, like, I thought that was really funny, because, like, in She-Hulk, they introduced the intelligentsia, and it's literally just, like, misogynistic Reddit.
Love it. We love to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense that he's mental in that and mechanized in this.
Yeah.
Because in this, he needed a mechanized body to function.
Right. And he's, like, not a scientist either in this.
Yeah.
He's like, a weapon.
Yeah. He was a crazy businessman.
Yeah.
Before he became Yellow Jacket and then got, like, quantumized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that was interesting. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Everybody did a great job. Go see it.
Good stuff.
Do it. Yeah.
We hit the 2-hour mark.
Yeah. So we can move on to the last segment of the show, which is the watch list.
Watch list.
Yeah.
What's on the watch list?
Did you watch anything over this last month? Anything of that?
I've been watching the Ingress show.
There's an Ingress show?
Ingress has an anime. It's on
Really?
Netflix.
Okay.
It's not traditional anime. It's CGI 3D anime.
Interesting.
But it's not that terrible.
Okay.
The art style is passable. The story, if you don't like Ingress, I'd say it's mid. If you like Ingress, I'd say it's pretty good. If you have Netflix and you want to watch something before you cancel your subscription, I highly recommend the Ingress show. It's good. Play Ingress. It's a fun game. It's like Pokemon Go, but you're a secret agent.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay.
I don't watch much stuff.
I finally finished the 13 seasons of Blue Bloods, which is still going on. I'm like watching it weekly. 911 Lone Star came back, so been watching that. Goldberg's came back. This show called Grownish came back on ABC. It's like a Yara Shahidi spin-off of Blackish.
Cool.
Just a funny comedy I watched. I started watching iCarly because people told me like they were saying like all those shows that you watched as a kid. So I started watching iCarly. I don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. Like there are lots of shows like that I like, but iCarly is not one of them.
Yeah.
I've watched, I think, at this point, 20 episodes.
Nostalgia isn't what it used to be.
I like maybe 4 of the 20 episodes.
Ooh.
And, like, some of them are genuinely hilarious, but most of them are just, like, there's an episode where they, like, swim in a giant cup of coffee, and they're like, I'm so thirsty for coffee, and they drink the coffee that they're swimming in. I'm like, that's disgusting.
And weird.
The one thing I do appreciate about the show is, like, all of the tech stuff in it is, like, it has a pear logo on it. Mm-hmm. It's, like, a knockoff of Apple. And, like, the coffee company is called Skybucks.
Nice.
And, like, every time they, like, sing a song, they're, like, they make, a public domain joke. They're, like, time to sing your public domain birthday song. And
wasn't the birthday song literally bought, though? It's no longer public domain?
Oh, yeah, that was the point. Because, like, they didn't sing that, like, you know, happy birthday to you. It was, like, I think it was, like, for He's a Jolly Good Fellow.
Damn.
Yeah. Because, yeah, it was just really funny. And I like all, like, the knockoff products that they have.
Yeah.
And, like, even, like, the principal is, like, walking around. Like, one of the kids grabs his phone and throws it on the ground and he goes, whoa, you heard I got the new Pear phone. And I was like, huh. Apple.
The new e-phone.
The new e-phone. And I just thought it was really hilarious because, like, it's clearly a knockoff of Apple.
Yeah.
And, like, Skybucks. Clearly a knockoff of, like, Starbucks. So, that's hilarious. Spencer, I think, is annoying. Freddy is a hilarious character.
It's stuff that was made to be funny to, like, children.
I don't understand how this show ran for 6 seasons. Like, maybe it gets better, but...
It was on Nickelodeon, right?
It was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. It was just goofy and
apparently
dumb.
there's, like, like the show Victoria, apparently also connects to iCarly because there was a spin-off show called Sam and Cat.
Oh, yeah. I heard about Sam and Cat.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I've been watching that. I mean, I guess it's a thing. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I've watched anything. I did see a couple new episodes of The Bad Batch.
Oh.
It's going pretty well, and I finished National Treasure, The Edge of History. Yeah, that's the correct subtitle. It was fine. It wasn't horrible, but it also wasn't, like, as good as the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, the last 2 episodes, particularly, I thought had some really good reveals. But I just don't think that the show has enough substance to make it like the movies. Because the movies had something special about them. The show is missing that.
The movies were so stupid and goofy.
Yeah.
You
And,
know?
like, this one is just based off of, like, coincidences. And, like, the main character is like, oh, this is this because of this and this. And I'm, like, the main, like, villain, like... things are, like, completely random. She goes, oh, what if this goes here? It's not based off of, like, any actual historical fact. It's just, like,
And there's just
a
random
lot of
logical
guessing.
leaps.
It's just, like, a lot of guessing.
Oh, gosh.
And a lot of it, like, being guessed on the first try and being right. And I don't like that. But yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it's not that good. Anyway, yeah, I think that's the last thing of the watch list. Next month, Mandalorian comes out on March 1st, so I'm gonna be watching that. I'm not sure what the topic will be for next month.
I should catch up on Mandalorian.
Yeah. I'd recommend watching.
I need to see Book of Boba Fett
yeah.
and Season 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Has Season 2 happened?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll find a topic to talk about next month. But yeah, thank you all for sticking around. If you want to reach us, you can reach us on Twitter at Script Supervisors Pod, on Instagram at Script Supervisors Pod. If you want to send us a letter, you can send us a letter at scriptsupervisorspod@gmail.com.
Why would you send a letter to a podcast?
I would love to get an email from. I love getting emails.
Okay, an email, yeah, but I'm just thinking like an actual letter.
If you want to send us a letter,
Don't.
I mean, I won't object if one of you sends us a physical letter, and I would love that. But yeah, so if you want to reach us, you can reach us there. I'm at the Year Review on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram personally, but yeah, so that's it for the show. Thank you all for listening, and oh yeah, big thanks to PLU Laser for letting us use their facilities.
Absolutely, PLU Loot Air Student Radio.
Yeah,
Tune in.
Yeah,
it's a 24/7 music stream.
Yes,
and my boyfriend has a radio show on it.
Really?
Yeah,
interesting.
Marley.
Ah, yes. Yes, but yeah.